What's going on? Another video today, taking a few shorts and just reacting to them, talking about what they talking about. And we spend a lot of time, a lot of content creators, a lot of news in general spends a lot of time talking about the social justice, SJWs, and all of their feelings and everything else. And I don't think we spend enough time highlighting what I think I'm going to coin on this channel, the CSWs. We got the SJWs, the social justice warriors. We're going to call these people here the CSWs, the common sense warriors. So we got the social justice warriors versus the common sense warriors. The common sense warrior we're going to check out today is Candace Owens. About 4 quick shorts, and let's see what she's talking about. Oops. Okay.
To survive in woke culture, you have to become a liar. You have to pretend that you think fat is beautiful. You have to pretend to be race obsessed. You have to pretend that you think Dylan Mulvaney is a woman and should be included in female spaces. We are being told that you have to lie repeatedly in order to survive in corporate culture. And she is herself a victim of that and a perpetuator of that. So yeah, it's absolutely shameful, and she should feel ashamed that she brought this idea to Bud Light. But I do believe that she was conditioned. I mean, she went to Harvard. What do we think goes on? What do we believe is the sociology of people that graduate Harvard? They're basically being told that this is the way that they should think. There is interference. Okay,
so before we jump into this one, Candace's are pretty quick, 18 to 30 seconds. So, but that's very true. So many things, common sense things, just are not common sense anymore, and they're argued vehemently with no type of they have no type of an argument. There's no type of a foundation. Like, you know, you can dissect somebody's thought process. You can figure out why they think the way they think, what logic has brought them to that, if they're using factually based information, if they're, you know, whatever the case might be. But you can ascertain all of that if they have some sort of a case to deliver to you. I have yet to get it. Anyway, so I agree with that. In order to be woke now, you basically have to either really believe lies or perpetuate the lies that you know are lies. It's a lose-lose situation.
Various agenda to make you a victim, because victims are dependent. Victims are new neo-type slaves, right? You are constantly looking for a handout. You are constantly looking for somebody to make things better. That means that you are wholly reliant upon a system and not reliant upon African American culture. You think that in these classrooms, when you're taking African American studies, you're learning about black
No.
history. I have never in American culture. You think that in these classrooms, when you're taking African American studies, you're learning.
Okay, so on that last one, she was saying that the government wants to make you a victim, you know, because then you're dependent on them for whatever it might be. And there's a reality in that. That is pretty easy to trace, and the government has systematically done this for a long time, and but that's for a different video. But I agree very much that the government wants to make you a victim, and especially wants to make you a victim if you're ignorant to a lot of shit.
American culture. You think that in these classrooms, when you're taking African American studies, you're learning about black history. I have never in my entire life seen Black people more ignorant about their history than today, right? What they're actually teaching them is how to constantly see yourself as oppressed and how to see yourself through the vein of white people. Like I said before, a game of opposites. Well, the reason why you're not getting ahead in life is not because you can't read, and we won't teach you how to read or teach you how to write or teach you how to learn any science, but because of the color of your skin and because of white people, which you need to go out and attack. And you're never attacking the one thing that is disadvantaging you the most. This is the same for women, right? It is an entire theory built upon the idea that the color of your skin determines your outcome, and it is causing friction in our society. It is not because of racial disparities. It is because people are being taught to think in a way that is going to always make them race to the bottom. So
it's so true. It's such a deep dive. It's one of the issues that I plan to get deep into on this channel. This is a situation that is so out of control. There's been such a mask, such a veil put over both white and black people's eyes. Black people, they want to train every black person and every white person to have a mentality according to what their skin color is. The white person should feel privileged. The black person should feel oppressed. I'm mixed. I'm black and white. So where does that leave me? Am I just like a wash? I'm even. But there's so much of it that's bullshit. One of the major issues with dealing and tackling that is that it is such a perfect hill to die on for people that are going to go the route of complaining and making excuses and all that. I mean, if you have a culprit that is a systematic culprit, if you have a culprit that is outside of your reach, you can't fix it. They expect us to believe this country is inherently racist. And as long as they can keep minorities believing that, not just black people, but as long as they can keep, but especially black people, because it's almost a given that if you're black, you vote Democrat. Now, I gotta say, I've been looking at the numbers. The conservative movement for black people is going up. That's another tough nut to crack, because there's been so much indoctrination to where there are things that are spewed by the Democratic Party towards black communities that are so ingrained as being, you know, the Democrats being the saviors, the Democrats being the ones that are tolerant, the Democrats are, you know, equality and inclusivity and all that shit. And the reality of it is, they base their entire platform on identity politics. Race is the headliner. That's why, if you notice, if you look at transphobia, homophobia, any phobia, any ism, blah, 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 any of those, you will very quickly hear, and it is rooted in racism, because that's like the Trump card. That's the Trump card. Racist. That ends all dialogue. That ends all conversation. If I'm having a conversation with a white person and I don't agree with what they say, and I find a way to slip in there, well, you know, you're just racist. Conversation's done. It's done. Who the hell is going to want to continue that conversation if you're the white person? So that is the greatest trigger, the greatest dog whistle that Democrats have employed since the civil rights movement. It's crazy. It's crazy. And when you say these things, when you are not even necessarily a conservative, but when you have views, see, because it only takes a couple of certain views in today's day and age to make you a conservative, If you're white, a racist, a Nazi, and all the phobism, blah, 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 shit that you can be at any given time. And if you are a minority, specifically a black person, and you hold any of those values that are deemed conservative or right-wing, you are an Uncle Tom, a bootlicker. And the reality of it is, it's unfortunate because that's the bridge that needs to be crossed. But the information isn't going to weight the bridge down. It's common sense shit. Just got to be able to find the ability to have good faith conversations to where people are willing to change their minds. And I'm not sure how to do that. I don't see many conversations end up very well with people that are staunchly believers in all of this woke SJW shit. So we'll move on to the next one.
Which ism are they going to run on? This is what they do. You are correct. You have sexism, which I think people grew very tired of after Hillary Clinton. We get it. We all hate women. We're all misogynists, according to the left. And they ran Hillary and she didn't win. When they ran Biden, of course, it was racism. It was everybody is a racist. It was the COVID pandemic. You're right about these emergencies.
COVID was racist.
And I want men to know that, this society needs real men.
Okay. So, I don't know if y'all know that or not. But COVID was racist. So there's that.
To stand up straight, be strong, be proud to be men.
Okay, I'm gonna run this back. Her clips are so fast. I've been having a problem with my pause on here. I don't know what's going on, but it's been locking up on me, and I don't know why. So anyway, I'm gonna play that one back from the beginning. Candace Owens gives you a lot of shit to talk about. There's not much that she says that is profoundly thought-provoking if you have any level of awareness. Because the things that she says,
and I want men to know that,
are common sense.
This society needs real men to stand up straight, be strong, be proud to be men.
I'm still here. I thought it was going to come right back on, so I didn't want to start talking because...
Don't shirk away from it.
Playing with me, this thing.
Don't let somebody make you feel pathetic.
Okay, so, I'm going to try and highlight a lot of these different CSWs, and because I think it's important to hear other people's point of view, even though we're all saying the same shit. Why? Because it's common sense. But that doesn't matter, because there's safety in numbers, and more people need to understand the scope of this wokeism, and more people need to say something.
I wanted to first share with you something that a colleague of mine posted, Matt Walsh. He posted this onto his Twitter yesterday.
We're going to be dealing with a lot of issues right now. I'm pretty focused on the transgender issues specifically.
Actually, and I was really struck by it because I've read things like it from the past, and I think it
you know what? I want to focus on the transgender issues, again, specifically the push to get children to transition, to take hormone blockers, puberty blockers, or whatever. These are not things that are contrary to what they'll tell you with no science or studies or evidence to back it up that you can just stop puberty. And then if the kid does decide, 19, 20 years old, that, hey, you know what? I'm not a girl. I'm a boy. He can just stop taking the puberty blockers, and his little jaunt through puberty will pick up right where it left off. Now, I'm not a scientist, and I don't have any evidence to be contrary to that, but I'm calling bullshit. Hormones are some of the most important things, and they're developing. I don't even want to get into it because I don't have the scientific wherewithal to give a reasonable argument scientifically. But again, we're not talking about scientific warriors. We're talking about common sense warriors. And common sense tells me that if you stop, start, alter, change the natural progression of the human body in two different forms, biological male, biological female, it's just bullshit. So I want to do these shorts, focus on some of the people that are, like I said, saying the same shit, but they're saying it with a different spin. They're giving you a little different perspective. Maybe the way I say it will open up somebody's ears, or I just know more people need to be vocal. Not mean, not out, doing anything crazy. It's not even about that. Because who gives a fuck what a person wants to do? But leave the goddamn kids alone. That's first and foremost. And as soon as we get done figuring the kids thing out, the very next most important thing is biological women and how this is affecting them in so many different areas. And what's crazy is some of these effects are easy and glaring to see right here in the now. They're overlooked. A quick example, Riley Gaines. She is in a locker room full of biological women. They are all butt boogie naked, running around, getting their swimsuits on, getting ready to go out and swim. I've never been in a woman's locker room, but I've been in plenty of men's locker rooms. And everybody's clowning in there, hanging out, having fun. Nobody's really paying attention to nakedness. And if you are, you're making a joke. I don't know, maybe the girls give each other comments. I don't know, but all I'm saying is it's a natural environment to where it is I hate to say safe space, but it is a safe space for a biological group of women to carry on the business of getting street clothes off, swimming clothes on, and getting out to compete on the highest level. And to see, without being given any warning, that there's a 6'4" biological male that is undressed, and wouldn't you know, his dingling was swinging everywhere. Common sense. So we're gonna go through, and we're gonna put together a compilation of these common sense warriors. And the last thing I want to touch on, I'm working on a system to where I am going to chart and track, somewhat like they do in the wild, animals that become more and more difficult to find. And there's a classification, and they work their way through. Endangered, extremely endangered, all the way up into extinct. I think that I am going to keep somewhat like the AP poll for college, top 25, in this case it'll probably be top 6 or 7, of the most endangered human subcategories. Which humans are in the most danger, not necessarily physical, but just to be extinct, whether that's on a social level, whatever the case might be. Right now, number one, and I don't know how this will be overtaken. There would have to be some drastic shit. But right now, the straight white male is the most endangered human species on Earth, in my opinion. Hey, Mike, what do you think's number two? Number two is the conservative black male. Tough road. Tough road. Not tough. I'm being facetious because, like, suck it up. But there is a lot of ridicule. I'm gonna cut this off. I'll tell you what I would round out my top three with, and leave some comments. Tell me what you think. If there's a subcategory of endangered humans that I'm not thinking about, let me know. But I think number three on the endangered species list would be the LGBTQ member that is a conservative or a Trump supporter. Now, you probably would argue, especially if you were, say, a lesbian and a Trump supporter, you could probably sit here and argue with me and say, no, I don't care what you say. It's not the straight white male, conservative black male. It's us. So there's a conversation to be had, and we're going to start keeping track of it. I appreciate you checking this out. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications. I'm going to be doing videos every day. I promise they're not all going to be 20 minutes. I'm trying to make some shorter ones, but I just can't shut my mouth. So I appreciate you listening, and see you next time.